the acting coordinator and the facilitator for this coalition. I am serving today as your MC, and we have with us today Adriana Paz Ramirez, who is here on behalf of the Justicia for Migrant Workers BC. We have with us Florcita Bautista from Migrante BC, and Mr. Raul Gatica from AWA CFCW Surrey Support Center, and Father Marvin, serving as co-host with Father Juan Louis. He presides at St. Helen's Church, Burnaby, and is one of the missionaries of St. Charles Scalabridians community here in Vancouver. So without further ado, I will pass the mic to each of them, who will have about 5 to 6 minutes to present a little bit of their interests and organization and concerns that I believe will be echoed in our unity statement. And then we'll pass the microphone along. As Janet said, I am a representative of the organization Justicia, it means justice in Spanish, Justice for Migrant Workers. We are an organization that advocates for the rights of agricultural migrant farm workers that come here mostly from Mexico, Guatemala, and Caribbean countries. Our organization is run entirely by the dedication and commitment of volunteers and unpaid labor organizers. We're based in Ontario and BC. Since migrant workers themselves cannot be here to speak about the conditions that they face in the Canadian fields and the Canadian farms, as allies, supporters, and friends of these workers, we are here to tell you about what we have witnessed in our years of community outreach and working with the workers in this province. So we would like to tell you a little bit about the conditions that these farm workers face here. Many of these workers work from 12 to 15 hours. They are reluctant to stand up for their rights and to speak, since employers find it very easy to send workers back home at their own expense instead of dealing with serious labor rights violations. The lack of an appeal mechanism for these workers in the seasonal agricultural workers program forces many workers to remain silent out of fear for being expelled from the program and being deported from the country. Canada has historically relied on migrant labor to build this nation. Migrant workers today are indispensable in domestic work, construction, and agriculture. The low wages of migrant workers have supported a multi-million agricultural industry in BC and in the country. Despite the economic importance of migrant workers' contributions, they have been consistently denied basic rights and citizenships. Today, agricultural migrant workers are among the most marginalized workers in the province. Since 2005, we have engaged in providing support, information, and education to workers throughout the Fraser Valley. We have been documented workplace abuses and labor rights violations. Some of those documents and research studies are there on the table for you to pick up if you want to know more. We have collaborated with the research with the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives 2 years ago, and we have documented these abuses. In several occasions, we have exposed on the media also the main flaws and inconsistencies with the temporary workers program, and we have engaged in dialogue with different levels of government at municipal, provincial, and federal levels. However, our advocacy efforts, similar to other sisters organizations that are present here, have fallen into deaf ears from elected politicians, policymakers, and government officers from HRSDC and Services Canada that manage the temporary workers program. Furthermore, in the last few years, we have seen only an aggressive expansion of the temporary workers program without any regards to protect the labor rights and human rights of these workers. To the point that in 2008, we have seen more temporary workers coming into this country than permanent immigrants. This is a clear reflection of the shift in immigration policies in the country. Moreover, along with this aggressive expansion of the temporary workers program in different sectors, such as construction and food and services, we have also seen detrimental changes in programs that strengthen the structural vulnerabilities that these workers face. For example, we can go down these changes, these recent changes introduced last month, April 9, that bans migrant workers from coming into the country for 4 years after having coming for 4 years here in Canada. Federal and provincial government officials appear to forget that they are making human beings that have families back home. Instead,
I am Conchita Bautista, and I represent Migrante BC. What is Migrante BC? Migrante BC is a community organization that advocates and provides some services to the migrant women and men, especially the Filipinos. We are a member of an international organization known as the Migrante International. And Conferencia International is present in many countries, especially in Asia, Japan, such as Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, and especially in the Middle East, where we have almost 2 billion Filipino workers there. We are also present in Europe, and in Canada we are in Winnipeg, Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, and we are now trying to establish footings in Alberta. So as I said, the right of temporary foreign workers. How do we do this? We try to learn what is the real situation of the workers as a consequence of the policies made by the government. We visit them, if possible, in their workplaces. In their workplaces, we talk to them, we take them for coffee, or we just meet them in the office of our MLA, Mabel Elmore, because until now we don't yet have an office. So we try to know their situation and then bring this situation that we got from them to MPs and MLAs. Because surprisingly, many of the MPs do not even know what's really happening to the workers as a consequence of their policies. We were once talking with an MP from the Conservative Party, a member of the Standing Committee for Migrant Workers. And we were asking what is the rationale of making these workers work only for 4 years here and then send them back home and then take again another group. And she did not even know. I don't know, we will ask that in the caucus. So, because of this situation, we feel that we cannot really be working alone. There should be a bigger...
The missionaries of St. Charles Caribbeans, we, together with other communities, we are very grateful to start this initiative with a coalition, together with St. Joseph in Langley, the community, the Kairos, Vancouver, and Richmond, and the Longhouse Council of Native Ministry. We realize that it's a time for us as a church to stand up and to find either the possibility to raise the voices of many migrant workers. As Caribbeans, we were founded in 1887 in Italy. We were founded as a priority to serve the migrants who were leaving their countries in Italy in many directions, especially in Brazil, United States, and after that in Europe, in many countries in Europe. After so many initiatives to give the attention, the right service, and above all, to provide the faith for these communities, we discovered that we cannot serve only Italians, because there were many other countries struggling with the same need, which was their faith. So our congregation was open their hearts and mission to all the migrants, refugees, and people which is in the moment. We especially are in position where the migrants need our attention. Today we are in Vancouver serving the Portuguese community, the Italian community, and the Spanish community. In 1887, our experience was especially for the Italians. Today, we are trying even to find a space for many Latinos who are struggling with this reality. We are working all around the world in almost 27 countries and serving migrants in not the best conditions. Today, we are trying to stand up together with this coalition, trying to find a space and a voice. We don't want to speak for them. We want to teach the community. This is what we are looking for. We want to find a space in their hearts of many Canadians. We don't want to speak for the migrants, because the only way that we can reach and we can change the situation is with our position and with our awareness. Today, we consider that, as Scalabinian says to us when we were founded, the church should be where the people is suffering and fighting. We really believe that the church cannot stay away from this reality. If the migrant is suffering and struggling, we have to be there. We have to walk with them. We cannot stay quiet. And we
Good
cannot...
morning, everyone. Thank you for the media to stay here. And the best thing to be the last one is that we have to say not too much because everybody already said everything. This is a good thing. I would like to talk to the Canadian through the media. I would like to talk to them to say that the Agriculture Workers Alliance, we are part of the Agriculture Workers Alliance, is a non-profit organization. We have 10 support centers across Canada, and also we have 3 centers here in BC, one in Kelowna, one in Abbotsford, and one in Surrey. I am in Surrey. And we are in the front line every season. We provide service for around at least 2,000 farm workers every season. At least we provide help for translation, or bring them to the doctor, to do a workshop, organize a party, provide them luggage, bicycles, community kitchen, tours to visit some places, tours to buy his groceries, to buy his clothes when they are returning to Mexico, Guatemala, or from Caribbean islands. All those things we are doing, and we are a few people who are doing that. The practical team, concrete team, and like the other brothers too, in different places. And always we have some questions that we would like to ask to the Canadians. All the Canadians are thinking, what is the real price that they are paying when they are going to the superstore, to the second food, when they are buying a zucchini, when they are buying a potato, when they are buying a carrot? They really know what is the price that they are paying for it? Because we think that if the Canadians see that the real price is the bad condition for the farm worker, the terrible housing condition for them, maybe they could feel concerned and they could help us in order to push